After watching that piece of shit convicted criminal Donald Trump in the Oval Office yesterday, that ambush, that setup against Volodymyr Zelensky, and what that clearly now means to the world. This means that, not getting too much into it right now, what it means for the world is that the United States is no longer on the side of good. We are abandoning our allies. We are attaching ourselves to a murderous autocrat, Vladimir Putin. Our European allies, or at least those countries who up until recently were our allies, and which who will probably make nice and pretend like they're our allies, will actually behind the scenes be abandoning the United States, will be separating themselves from us as much as possible, as they should. They have to be concerned with their own countries and their own security. And what yesterday showed is that the United States can no longer be counted on. And I'm sure we will soon be, for all intents and purposes, if not literally, be pulling ourselves through our criminal president out of NATO, because that's what Putin wants us to do. He wants that alliance to be destroyed. After watching all of this and knowing full well what it means, it's a turning point in history, and not in a good way. I have come to the conclusion that unless this man, this detestable piece of shit criminal Donald Trump, is not impeached and removed from office in the not too distant future, and I am under no illusions that that will actually happen, but if he is not, I believe that, we may be looking at a situation in which the damage done to the world will be irreparable. And God only knows where that will lead. Assuming that Donald Trump either leaves office, does not install a successor, does not render future American elections moot, because enough of the red states to reach 270 electoral votes in this country, that enough of those states are not rigged, and that we actually have free elections going forward, and that even if we, elect a Democrat in 2028, I think the damage, certainly, just look how much damage he has done to the world in just 1 month. The damage that will have been done over the next 4 years will be completely irreparable. I mean, we might be in the midst of World War III by then. I don't know. I mean, so rapidly is this world changing for the worse, becoming so much more dangerous. If the American people do not rise up and force the Congress of the United States to both impeach and remove this man from office, the damage done by this man to the world, and certainly to the United States, may well be beyond repair. And again, I'm not naive in this. I don't expect it to happen. I don't expect him to be impeached and removed from office, certainly not in the next 2 years with this Republican Congress, although there are some hopeful signs out there. We have Republican congressmen scared to death of holding town halls. They're being eaten alive by their constituents. If the uprising in this country is vocal enough, serious enough, widespread enough, it could happen. We could impeach and remove him from office. The way it happens, and this is the only way it happens, is if members of Congress become more afraid of the people than they are of Donald Trump. That's the only way that we're going to be able to impeach and remove him from office. And that's what we need to understand. And that's what people need to find ways to do. Make these members of Congress fear you. Make them more afraid of us than they are of Donald Trump. And watch how quickly things can change. Again, I don't expect that to happen, but it is certainly not impossible. How much more are the American people going to take? Are we so far gone as a people that we are willing to let this man completely upend the world order as it has existed for the last 80 years? Sadly, I think probably the American people are too stupid, too unaware, too ignorant of history to even give a shit. I don't think that most of them even have a clue what's going on right now. I don't think they have any idea the damage that Donald Trump is doing to not just this country, but to the world. I think they look at what happened in the Oval Office yesterday. Of course, the cult, the Trump cult, loves it. But even those who are not part of the cult, I think most of them look at that and don't have any idea about the importance of it. Even people who are embarrassed by it, think it was horrible. Do they really understand what it means for our alliances, for the world order as it has existed for decades? I don't think most of them do. I mean, most of these fucking morons in this country, they couldn't even name the 3 branches of government. You think they're going to understand the role of NATO, our alliances with Western European nations, and everything else that this will mean to the world? It's not just Russia. This has huge implications for China, for the Middle East. I mean, this is... You think these people understand? Of course they don't understand any of this. But they do understand that the price of eggs is going through the roof, the price of gas, the price of groceries, the price of everything else. They do understand that Donald Trump was supposed to come in and fix all that. They do understand that they're not happy with their lives. They think this country's going in the wrong direction, and nothing Donald Trump is doing is going to improve any of that. So maybe when enough of them get fired, not just directly by Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Doge being fired from the federal government, but when they're fired from their private companies because the economy's in the toilet and the business isn't there and they have to lay people off, or because of Donald Trump's tariffs harm American businesses, as they will, when they lose their jobs because of that, when they can't afford their groceries, when they then have no medical insurance of any kind because they've lost their jobs, and because Trump and the Republicans in Congress have so thoroughly cut Medicaid that they can't even get Medicaid, that they can't get, food stamp assistance and all of that stuff. Maybe when that happens to enough of the people in this country, and that it hurts them personally, as it will, the unemployment rate's going up, inflation is going up, economists are warning of, a massive recession right around the corner, a huge crash of the stock market. When all of these things happen, when enough people feel the pain personally, maybe they'll begin to wake up. Maybe. And since it's happening so fast because this man is such a fucking disaster, maybe it will happen quickly enough that the American people turn against this man and make members of Congress fear them more than they fear Trump. Maybe we can impeach and remove this piece of shit from office before he destroys so much of our alliances in the world that it's too late to repair them. Maybe. But I doubt it. It's not impossible, but it's highly unlikely. No, our fate may have been sealed on November 5th, when the blithering fucking idiots we're surrounded by in this country voted to reelect this piece of garbage. Congratulations, America. Good fucking job, idiots.